Hey guys, Jay Nice on the mic. Let's get into this Queen and Slim review, honey. So last night, went to go see Queen and Slim. Don't mind me, it's like 4 p.m. and I'm still sipping my coffee. I drink coffee all day long. So if you have not seen Queen and Slim, do not watch this video because obviously there are going to be spoilers, but I wanted to give my initial reactions, thoughts, hear from y'all what you think. So first of all, I'm really excited to support this movie because Lena Waithe is a Black writer, and I love to support projects by Black people, particularly Black women, or women of color. And both of the actors in the movie, the main characters, are British. One is, she's Jamaican, I think of Jamaican descent. The other is Daniel Kaluuya. He is Ugandan but British. So my husband and I have this debate where he thinks that British actors are more classically trained, and that's why in a lot of these movies lately we've been seeing British actors being used versus Black American actors. I disagree with that, but that's not the point. That's neither here nor there. That's not the point of this review. But where do I begin? So I think that the ending got me, man. The ending, so much meaning behind it. And if y'all have watched this channel for any good amount of time, you know I frequently speak on the fact that sometimes we as Black people are our own worst enemy. And I think that this movie was a good example of this. The fact that these two people were ratted out by one of their own, it'd be your own people, was really disheartening. But I love the message that Lena was trying to convey. And sometimes, again, we are our own worst enemy. Going back to this idea of the Willie Lynch letter, and how within this letter was a very detailed outline of how to turn Black people against each other, and we create separation within our community, and that has been perpetuated for hundreds and hundreds of years. We are not unified enough, and I think that much of our issues within the Black community stem from our inability to be completely cohesive, to be on one agenda. And I think that this movie, if I could take one message away from it, that is what it would be. I love the fact that the Black officer let Queen and Slim go. And I just love that, it was, no matter what your profession is, police officer or not, I think as Black people we have this level of solidarity, and I thought that that was really beautiful in that moment. Then we saw that sort of side by side with this idea that we are our own worst enemy. That was really heavy for me, and all of this happened within like the last 10 minutes of the movie, and I was like, oh, they're gonna go free, they're gonna go to Cuba, all will be well. But again, it was just like a ton of bricks. What else did I love? I loved the fact that we were able to see and to witness Black love, and I think that that's beautiful. It's poetic, and it was unapologetic Black love, and I love that that was showcased so well in the movie. I also felt like it was beautiful to showcase Black vulnerability, and it was beautiful to see how strong Queen was. I assume Queen was a woman and Slim was the dude. I don't really remember them using those names within the movie, but I guess that's who they were. But I thought that that was beautiful. She was such a strong Black woman. She was so assertive, and she was just so like, but at the same time, she was vulnerable. She was really vulnerable with Slim, and she shared with him her scars, as she called them. and it was just like a beautiful love story that was being painted right in front of our eyes. So I was reading, so I follow, let me be honest, I follow a lot of people that would be considered hoteps on Instagram. And one of the hoteps that I follow, and if y'all don't know what it is, you gotta look up HOTEP. One of the hoteps that I follow, he posted about Queen and Slim, and then I started reading the comments. And it's really interesting that people who probably haven't seen the movie keep saying that there was this white savior. So the couple, Uncle Earl gave them an address, told them to go to this couple. They went to this couple. He was a former, he was in the service with Uncle Earl. He was in the service. Him and his wife sort of sheltered Queen and Slim for one night, but it wasn't even one night. So within the comments section, someone was saying, oh, this movie has a white savior complex. Those two individuals did not save Queen and Slim. In fact, the wife did not want them to even be there. They weren't even there for a night. They stayed there, and then at night, that's when the neighbor called the cops on them, or, you know, kind of blew up their spot. And that's when they hid underneath the floorboard. So there was no white savior. I think people like to perpetuate that when they haven't seen the movie. If you've seen it and that was your interpretation, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree, because that couple was not the one that saved them. I was a little put off by the young boy who ended up going to a protest and shooting a black police officer. I didn't really understand what the purpose of that scene was about. I just feel like, again, regardless of what your occupation is, the sameness of our blackness is what really joins us. And I understand the saying, not all skin folk is kinfolk, but that just really upset me. And I feel like the black officer was trying to help him out and was, you know, he could have easily whooped this boy's butt, but he didn't, and he was kind of really trying to encourage him to just leave and you know, go home, because he's a kid. So I think that it just bothered me that this young boy thought that it was okay. He wanted to be immortalized, and he thought it was okay and acceptable to shoot this black officer when all he was really trying to do is help him. And I'm not of the mindset or the mind state where I believe that all officers are bad. I think there's a lot of bad officers, but I don't think that every single officer is bad. And I also think that if you believe that, then how do you even really resolve crime or resolve problems? Like, if someone breaks into your house, the first person I'm gonna think of to call is the police. And I think that it starts to become problematic and sort of like an eye for an eye and sort of like vigilante justice when you feel like you cannot trust any police officers. And I grew up in the suburbs, so maybe I have a different mind state than some people out there, but I do think that not all police officers are bad. But there are many police officers that are bad and that are crooked and that use their power, that abuse their power rather. So I was a little, I guess I don't really know how to interpret that particular scene. But I think those were my main takeaways from the movie. I thought it was beautiful. The depiction of New Orleans, if you know, y'all probably don't know this, but New Orleans is one of my favorite cities in the whole world. I lived in Louisiana for 3 years, and I was not in New Orleans, but I was hours away, and every time I would visit, I just felt like it was such a beautiful city. So I thought that the movie really depicted NOLA culture very beautifully. It was really dope to me when I read that this movie was actually shot in Ohio. So I thought that was pretty cool. But again, I think my main takeaway was really, it just resonated with me, the ending. As I know it resonated with a lot of people, it kind of made me think of Nipsey Hussle and everything that sort of transpired with his passing, and how it was allegedly one of his own who sort of ended his life. And it just kind of makes me think about that and how we can really become more cohesive as a community. And I guess that's where I'll leave off, is posing the question to you all, how you think we can ultimately become more cohesive as a community. What are some specific action items and steps we can do to become more united? So with that, I will leave you all. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday, spending time with your families or getting work done, whatever it was that you were doing. Majority of us did not have to work, so I hope that you all had a wonderful 3 or 4 day weekend, and I will see you all in the next video.